Hello? I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake.
This is a library.
I'd like to order french fries, a burger, and a milkshake.
I think that the public library system has never been more important to any community. It doesn't matter if it's North Shore, high demographic financially, or some of the less fortunate suburbs. A public library system within each community is tremendously important for families.
I know the library started out as a volunteer library, and which showed that the community really wanted a library. And we started out with all the books that we had were donated. When we did have our first librarian, it was in the 50s, and she started out, she ran the library. When I started here in 1987, it was a lot different than it is today. For example, the circulation department had one person working on Sundays at the circ desk and one person shelving the books, and that's all we needed. Today we have 10 people, and still that is not enough to keep things going.
The Niles Library is great just because we have just grown by leaps and bounds. You know, it's seeing ourselves 20 years ago, we were kind of considered a smaller library, even through our consortium, but now we were in the bigger libraries of the consortium. And it's just been so exciting to see kind of all the changes, and really saw like visionary managers kind of taking this place forward.
We just outgrew every space that we had as far as staff space and public space. And when we went for referendum and it passed, and we decided on the building that we have now, the decision was made that the best way to manage that would be for us to move out of the library. Moving a library is an experience. I don't think people do it very often, but we had to move out of the library. We moved to the old Banker's Life building. We took 2 floors of that. That was over on Caldwell. And then this building that we had, many of the walls came down, and some of it was saved and some of it wasn't, but in order for us to expand. And while we were on Caldwell, we did lose a lot of our patrons. We knew that. It was out of the way. The free bus didn't go there, and so we really had to try and do things to drum up business. And that was the first year we had our what we called Super Sunday, and that's the first Sunday that we're open in September. And then the following April, when we moved back, people were really happy to see us back here.
Niles is a wonderful community to work in. Niles is like your ideal library community because there are people here who really, really need the library. This is not a community where most of the people have a great deal of money. Most of the people have some money, but they're not swimming in money, and so they don't come in all attitude-y. They're very grateful for what you have to provide. And we also have a lot of fairly recent immigrants who very much value reading, learning, and being able to come to the library and having this resource here for themselves and for their children. So they really appreciate the work that we do.
We were a forerunner in the having a computer lab. We were the first library to offer such a thing. At that time, everything was a Macintosh. We had little Macintosh all over the library. And that's all that the staff used, and that's all we had for the public. But again, we were a forerunner in that, and other libraries began to model what we were doing based on the success that we were having.
I think reference librarians are always going to be needed in a library. It's part of it is people are still going to want that one-on-one attention when they're trying to find information, that personal attention that they can gain. And we don't have, not everyone knows how to use a computer yet. We have a couple of generations that aren't using a computer and still need our help to find information that's only available that way. We have students return telling us about their A's on their term papers. We have people coming to us, they have been to a doctor, they don't understand what's going on with some sort of diagnosis they've been given, so they come to the library to get information on their own that they can read. People who have found jobs and come back and they've been so elated that they found a job and they use the library in order to find that job.